being in nature is so healing for us on so many levels. When we forget to be in nature, we anchor ourselves in the constant change, the ups and downs of that which is happening in our jobs, in our relationships, in our families, in the stock market, in all of that which is in constant flux. And the problem with that is that, of course, there's certain directions that make us feel happy. Certain directions of the stock market, certain directions of interest rates, certain activities and actions and happenings in our career or in our social life that make us feel happy and content and satisfied. And other directions that make us feel dissatisfied and worried, fearful for tomorrow, anxiety, stress. When we come to nature, it does two very powerful things. First of all, it anchors us in the presence of existence, the presence of a perfection of creation that is constant. These mountains, these trees, this lake, how many thousands of years they've been standing. How long have these mountains existed? How much have they seen? How much of our history have they stood through? The rise and the fall of every single political party, the rise and the fall of empires, the rise and the fall of every season, over and over and over again. And so it anchors us in a constancy. It anchors us in an eternity. It anchors us in that perfection, that never-changing eternal perfection of creation. But it also does something else that's very powerful, which is it reminds us that change is actually part of the perfection. And so the seasons of nature, here we are right now in the end of spring, the coming of summer. The days are warm, the water is flowing. But if we were here a few months ago, this lake would be ice. These mountaintops would be covered in snow. These trees would be covered in snow. In many cases, so many of the trees wouldn't even have leaves on them. And it reminds us that change is also part of the perfection. And that in our lives, in our individual lives, as well as the lives of our societies, our communities, our world, there are rainy seasons and dry seasons. There are hot seasons and cold seasons. There are seasons when things seem to be blossoming and growing and giving fruit. And then there are seasons when things feel fruitless, blossomless, dry. And to remember that nature is like that as well, that the concept of change, the concept of fertile times and fallow times are built into nature. There are times when there is green. There are times when there is white of the blanket of snow. And it's all beautiful. And it's all perfect. And rather than expecting of us that which even nature cannot do, to somehow be constantly productive, constantly climbing, constantly creating, constantly in motion, in action, is something that nothing in nature does. Other than, of course, our beautiful rivers that flow and flow and flow. But even our rivers, the flow of Mother Ganga in summer is so different from the flow in winter. So different in the rainy season from the dry season. So as we come to nature, it reminds us we are part of eternity. We are part of the changeless, infinite, boundless, ceaseless creation. That which is happening today, this week, this moment. Don't worry. It's okay. It also is part of the constant change. But who we are, the truth of us, is this truth of the towering mountains, the towering trees, the ever-flowing streams and rivers, that in the face of everything, just continue to exist. And it anchors us in that presence of existence, of creation, that is eternal. And in the midst of our own ups and downs, in the midst of our own uncertainty, in the midst of our own times of great productivity, in times in which we feel a little bit more like the dry season, to realize that that too is perfect. And to just keep coming back to nature, knowing that who we are at this moment, in this space, in this breath, connected to the air, the water, the soil, the trees, the mountains, is exactly as we are supposed to be. Exactly perfect. We are the drops of water, and we are the ocean to which the drops return. We are the movement of the drops back to the ocean, and we are the eternal, infinite, unchanging ocean to which the drops return. Spend some time, if you can, in nature and experience that oneness with the flow of the seasons, the very natural flow of change, and also with the higher and deeper truth of your own infinite, ceaseless, boundless presence and existence.